I remember almost 4 years ago now, that fateful day when I opened up the YouTube app. The first video that I saw was an American guy in his 60s with a young, pretty Filipina in her mid-20s, sat casually chatting very open and honestly about why he went to the Philippines and how they met and subsequently enjoy a very quiet, simple, happy life together. Now, my first impressions when I saw the two of them together were, what the hell? There's an obvious age gap of around 30 or 40 years. He is indeed old enough to be her grandfather. Why on earth would she be with this guy? He didn't appear to have much money. It was a very basic existence in a small apartment in the Dumaguete area. He wasn't particularly aesthetically pleasing, and so, like most Westerners, I was naturally somewhat confused, even suspicious. But as I got towards the end of the video, my thinking started to change, and I could see that he was completely genuine and sincere about his intentions towards her. He came across as being a fairly stand-up guy. Furthermore, I could see that she viewed him as being her Western dream. Now, although she apparently had never had a boyfriend before or even been on a date, the way that she described the first moment of meeting him, when she said that he was so tall and looked so hot in his shirt, and in her mind, she had that traditional Western image that she'd held probably since being a young girl on the TV of various old American films. I then decided to watch another couple of their videos, and it didn't take me long to reach the conclusion that this pretty young Filipina in her mid-20s would never have been happy with a guy in his 20s or 30s, a city slicker from the West, sharpshooter, downing shots in bars afterward with his buddies, with a roving eye for every pretty Filipina that gave him their attention. She was quite a simple province girl and quite simply just wanted the old-fashioned traditional values of yesteryear that she clearly felt very comfortable and safe with. The dynamics of the relationship were clearly more conventional, also in terms of her being a feminine woman and her man in the more traditional leading role of actually being the man, being the more experienced one. Now, in the Philippines, age gap relationships are tolerated and are much more common and, strangely enough, seem to work a lot of the time. And I'm not going to get into the intricacies of all that here. So, in less than half an hour, I'd completely changed my initial reaction to a much more positive one, where I actually wished the both of them the best, as I could see that they were happy. And it's in that sentence lies the key, because irrespective of what you or I or anyone else may think, whatever our reactions are, no matter how justifiable they may seem, at the end of the day, both of them had found the very thing that just about every single one of us spends most of our life searching for. Like my favorite film of all time, The Pursuit of Happiness. Now, it's also understandable why people, especially from the West, would have an adverse reaction to this scenario. We're quite simply not used to seeing a couple with such an enormous age gap as 40 years. And significant age gaps are not so common in the West and are usually frowned upon, unless you are a Hollywood star or viewed as being so rich and eccentric that people turn a blind eye. And to this, the fact that we would naturally assume the older man is indeed taking advantage of this much younger, presumed to be much more naive and less experienced girl in some way, whether that's through manipulation or coercion or abuse in some way, either emotionally, physically, or more usually, sexually. And in the West, more often than not, that may well have been the case. So is it any wonder that we jump to these conclusions? Anyway, as I sat there for the rest of the afternoon with this at the back of my mind, I deduced, after very careful consideration, the following. and that was this. If two consenting adults are together of their own free will and there is none of the former, no manipulation, no coercion or abuse or taking advantage of in any way, shape, or form, and no laws are being broken. If you can look in the mirror and ask yourself one question and give an honest, sincere, truthful answer to it, which is this: am I happy? And I'm not talking about perfect or bliss or everything is amazing, but just straight up, on average, happy. If the answer to this question is a truthful, sincere yes, then it makes absolutely no difference in this world what anybody, and I mean anybody, has to say about it. We could go back and forth, up and down, round and round in circles over this, over and over again, on every tiny subtle nuance of every point of whether we think it's good or bad, right or wrong, appropriate or inappropriate. In the meantime, those people, for example, would just continue to go about their normal business in living their happy little lives. So if you can genuinely and sincerely answer that question as a positive, affirmative yes, that is the only thing that matters. Because if there is any form of manipulation or coercion or abuse or taking advantage of any kind, it is impossible to reach that conclusion that you are happy. And on that basis, two individuals have found what 99% of every human being in existence on this planet, whether they like it or not, is searching for. And by the way, that couple, they since got married and had a kid. Now, why do we bother trying to improve our lives? Well, why do we bother looking for that better job with more pay? Why do we bother hoping to meet the man or woman of our dreams? Why do we spend some of our spare time indulging in hobbies or activities or sports to keep fit? Could it be that if we get that better job with more pay, it would make us happier? And why would it make us happier? Well, maybe because it would improve the quality of our lives and the lives of those we love and care about or who are responsible for. Could it be that if we meet that special person and the feelings are mutual, that we can have somebody to walk through life with and share experiences with and create memories and basically just live more life? Could it be that if we work out 7 days a week, that we might actually improve our physical appearance and therefore our overall health, maybe lose some weight? And if we lose weight, we look better, we feel better, and ultimately that makes us happier. If we choose to take risk and be bold enough to move to another part of the world, could it be that the real reasons why we're doing this is because ultimately at the end of it, we seek to be happier? Maybe we'd relax more. Maybe there's less stress or our money goes further. Maybe we actually have some dating opportunities and therefore we feel more open to making new connections and friendships along the way. The whole point of trying to improve any aspect of your life is to make it better, which would ultimately result in a happier person. So my point is this: the decisions that you make may not please everybody. You may even find that some family or friends even turn against you because the decisions that you are making are too far outside of the parameters that they would feel comfortable with. But at the end of the day, life is too short to be concerned with what they think. Because more often than not, what they think is actually based on misconceptions of what they just don't understand. And when people don't understand things, they become confused and they get scared and then they start to oppose. So you have a choice. You can conform and choose to adhere to other people's expectations, which are their limitations and which in turn become yours as well. And ultimately you end up doing nothing. When you go for the popular option, the easy option to please people so as not to offend or ruffles people's feathers, everything just stays nice and comfortable as you preserve the status quo. But there are occasions in life where you need to put your own interests first and everyone else's Second, follow your heart, trust your instinct, and when you hear that inner voice, just get on with it. You must be the expert on you, and therefore only you will know what truly makes you happy and for the fullest and truest expression of your authentic self. It's in those crucial moments where you bite the bullet, you break from the pack, from the safety of the herd, and go against the grain, that all the happiness, all the fulfillment, all the achievements, and the greatest experiences that you dream of then become available to you, just one step outside of your comfort zone. So, as long as you make sure that that step isn't a bold but intelligent one, it could be the most important step you ever take. The chances are that one day, most of us on average will likely reach, for example, let's say the age of 80, sat there in a nursing home, staring out the window on a beautiful summer's day, with piss dribbling down your legs. You probably won't even remember your own name. We can't really go anywhere or do anything, and if we did, we probably wouldn't be bothered anyway. You might not have your dignity or your pride. Hell, you might not even know where the hell you are. But if you're lucky, and I mean really lucky, as you sit there, all you will have is your memories. That's it. The house you lived in, the cars you drove, the money you earned, all those extra hours you worked overtime to pay for it all will mean very little in that moment as you sit there staring out of this window on a beautiful summer's day, watching all the young families with their kids running around, kicking a ball, buying ice creams, mowing their lawns, and painting their houses, packing the boot of the car to go to the seaside for the day. What will matter to you is all you did good and all you did bad, all that you wish you hadn't done and all that you wish you had done. You are a long time old, and when you're gone forever. And whilst it's nice to think it's never too late to do something and make a change, there does get to a point where the truth is, it's game over. That's it. Right up until that point, however, in every moment, there is a choice to be made and an opportunity to make massive change in any direction you choose, because that essentially is what we're doing right now in every moment. We're building memories for the future. So get off your psychological ass and make it happen. With that in mind, whatever your age and your stage in your mind and your life, you can either start building memories right now, so when you reach that age, there's a little grin on your face, one that says, I did it. Or at the very least, I gave it my best. Or a vacant look of sadness, emptiness, and a belly full of regret that says, I did nothing. I didn't even try. Either way, whatever you've chosen, the way that you've treated yourself and other people, the actions that you've taken and the effects of those, you're going to be living with those. You're going to have to sit with those for a very long time. So in the meantime, in every moment, be very careful how you behave, not just towards other people, but yourself as well. Be very careful about what you choose to do and what you choose to not do. And if you can't, then learn from them. Just keep moving forward and do the best that you can in every moment. There is a saying that God loves a triumph. And although I'm not especially religious, isn't it better that when that fork in the road appears, to be one of them?